What's going on, everybody? Chaseontwowheels here. Where's Luke? Wow, you were literally directly behind me. So typically, you guys are probably used to us doing Wreck Bike Rebuild, which is the Panigale we're currently working on, aka Panigale. But we have taken an assessment of the overall show and realized that Wreck Bike Rebuild does take a really long time, but we're making dream bikes here. The stuff doesn't happen overnight, it does take a while. So, in the interest of being able to give more motorcycles away to you guys, we have decided and talked with our Patreon people that we are going to start doing Wrecked Bike Refresh at the same time as Wrecked Bike Rebuild. So, we're at a state right now where the Panigale is going to take a lot of days to get the next episode out. In the meantime, we're going to head to Mountain today, pick up a bike that we can refresh in 4 or 5 episodes, and then give it away to our Patreon people. Brian, what's a refresh bike?
We're pretty much just going to go through the bike and make sure that everything is safe and in proper working order.
Right.
So, if anything's bent or broken, it gets replaced. Any fluids, tires, brake pads, spark plugs, air filters, just go through the bike physically, service-wise, to make sure it's in, perfect running condition. It may wind up with a couple little flaws, scratches, dings, stuff like that, stuff that's not going to keep you from riding a good, safe machine. And we're just going to pass that thing along so somebody can get out on the road and enjoy themselves.
If you guys are curious, that's the guy that typically holds a camera for Wreck Bike Rebuild. Welcome, Luke, to the front of the camera. So, that's the plan for today. We're going to run the mountain, we're going to pick the motorcycle, and the really cool thing about the Wreck Bike Refresh stuff is you guys that are supporting us over on Patreon, which is what supports this build as well, you guys are going to pick the bike. So we're going to give you guys whatever bikes are we feel are all good options that we could do a really good refresh on. And then over on Patreon is where you decide what the bike is, and that's also how we decide who wins the motorcycle. So you got to be over on Patreon to check all that kind of stuff out. And without any more of the talking that you do all the time, we're going to go to Mountain. We're going to pick our first, or not we're going to pick the first refresh, but we're going to see what options we got, and we can start from there. Hope you guys are excited. We are very excited. We had this in the works for a while, and we finally got everything figured out. Okay, let's go to Mountain. All right, dudes, here at Mountain, we got, how many options we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. We technically got 5 options, but we're only gonna show you guys 4, and we're gonna talk about why. Loudest bike ever. All right, you guys ready for the first option? Brian?
Yep.
Boom.
I don't know what year it is. You know what year it is?
03?
A 2003 Suzuki Burgman 400. For you guys that don't know what we have here, this is a 400cc parallel twin maxi scooter. It's a CVT transmission, so it's just a grab and go. All the controls up top are front and rear brakes. It is a very strong, reliable machine. You don't really see a whole lot go wrong with these particular machines. I just think it's actually not bad. This is not a bad machine. It rides well, it brakes well, it rides down the highway with ease. It's a really nice version of a scooter, if you will.
Oh my good God, dude.
So this is your storage capacity under the seat of your Bergman, and you could literally go grocery shopping for a couple of days.
That is legit. So guys, if we haven't made it clear, Mountain is actually letting us buy auction bikes that they were going to send to the auction anyway. So these bikes they wouldn't have sold, and they're just letting us buy them off of them. So first option is the Burgman. The rest are over there. So what's the next bike we're gonna be showing?
This bike has 21,000 miles on it.
And it also has snakeskin seats, boy.
I think it's actually real too.
That poor snake.
Maybe not. I don't think snakes are actually that wide.
All right, Brian. What are we doing with this ugly motorcycle?
So this is a 2006 Honda VTX 1300.
And what would we need to do to it to make it?
You know, honestly, something like this, we would just have to go through it and knock a lot of the ugly off of it.
Well, I hate to say it, but there's a lot of
ugly. No, there is. I agree. There is a lot of ugly on this thing, but as far as I understand, this bike is in very good condition to start. It's just a little bit older than what a dealership of this magnitude likes to keep on their used sales floor.
Right.
So they kind of try and stay within like a 10-year bubble.
Right.
They don't want to keep anything older than 10 years, and this is almost a 14-year-old bike at this point.
Good point.
You know, I just don't think it's worth their time to go back through it and try and resell it. There's not enough money in it for them.
Right, but hey, if you guys are interested in it, it might be worth you guys. So,
if
option
look at
2.
This machine, I mean, it has brand new tires on it. The wheels are still clean. They're not fitted. You know, all the lights seem to work. It's got just over 21,000 miles on it. And it looks like it's just going to fire up. You want to give it a shot?
I mean, we're here.
All right, let's find out. And it fires up real easy.
Yeah.
It's carbureted. All right, good enough. But it runs.
Hey, it does something the Panigale doesn't even do.
It's still a little cold, so it's not going to run and rev real clean yet, but...
How's it ride, Luke?
Pretty well.
All right. What is it? Option 3, boys. No. Look, some JB Weld right here. Some we got that air sander thing. We'll do it on
Right
that.
here.
We can't make too much fun of this bike because I legitimately think it's the best.
I'm not making fun of it.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, guys, we're not making fun of this. This is probably the best one. Oh, don't say ooh. There's no key for it.
So you just get a lock set. It's not a very complicated,
Ah.
you know, electronic machine.
Right.
So you just replace the switches and locks.
Which would be cool to.
Yeah, because then we get to break the gas cap lock. So
All right, let's be official. Brian, what's this bike? What year model? What it is? And then what would we have to do to it?
okay. So this is a 2015
So a newer year model.
newer year model Honda CBR 500.
Okay.
It is again a parallel twin 500 cc's.
Right.
My understanding of this machine is that it was abandoned. And as far as I know, there's nothing mechanically wrong with it. There is obviously some cosmetics going on. It has fallen over. Some of the levers are bent and scratched. There's no bar ends on it. Blinkers are smashed off of it. It's pretty rusty and dusty. But the biggest deal with this particular machine for us is that it doesn't have keys. So we would have to replace a lock set, which is not impossible. And in all actuality, it's really not even that difficult. So this is, again, another very viable option for us to do. It's a good all-around machine. It's you know, not too powerful to get you in trouble and not, you know, underpowered so much that you'll be terribly bored right away. So you could actually go out and have some fun on this thing.
Solid option.
Solid option.
All right. Seems like it has a battery issue of
No. You
Oh,
gotta do this a couple times.
Oh, is it like a Honda thing?
Yeah, and then you take it out,
Uh-huh.
and you put it in.
Oh, you put it in just a little bit.
Yeah, and then you just walk away.
Oh, okay.
Because it's broken.
Yeah. So you guys are probably getting really excited because there's a cool looking CBR 1000 here. Don't get too excited though, because we are not going to choose this motorcycle. I'm not even going to give it as an option to you guys. Brian's going to tell you why, because this is a little much for a refresh situation. All right, Brian.
Yes.
Obviously, we got a cool looking motorcycle here. People probably excited. Hey, refresh that thing.
This is a bad bitch right here.
And
I
tell
don't
them
know.
why it's a bad bitch and not in the way they think it is.
For a bunch of reasons, this is a badass machine. I don't know if anybody out there that's interested has had a chance to ride one of these things, but this is a fantastic bike to ride. Unfortunately, the motor in this bike is blown up.
It's not blown up, it just
Well, I mean,
tinks,
technically, when you hear a knock on the motor, that's referred to as blown up.
Oh.
So, you know, it still runs, but there are some very unhappy metal on metal noises coming from the bottom end of this motor, in which case it needs a complete rebuild, and God knows how many of the internal really expensive teeny tiny parts need to be replaced. So I think at this time this is really not what we're trying to do with this segment of our whole refresh segment here, but don't get me wrong, I wish we could actually do this thing.
I will say, I got excited too, and then it's just not what we're here for. But we wanted to show you guys anyway, because we wanted to show you the bikes that Mountain has for auctions and stuff. So this bike is going to an auction, so goodbye.
Yeah, this thing is definitely going to go to an auction at some point, somewhere.
Right. Goodbye, CBR. We wish we could have rebuilt you.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your fourth and final option is...
This horribly ugly thing that we're looking at here right now is a 2002 Suzuki Volusia 800. So this is pre-Boulevard series. And when they decided to call their machines Boulevards, this thing became a C50. So it's an 800cc liquid-cooled V-twin. It has a smaller engine, but it has all of the looks of a big bike. So it's got big wide fenders, it's got big wide tires. It gives you that look and feel like you're riding a big heavy cruiser, but it's got a small engine, and honestly, every bit of bodywork on this machine except for the gas tank, everything is plastic. So the bike is very, very light. It's light and it's nimble. So for an 800cc cruiser, which is not a lot of power, bike does really well because it doesn't weigh a whole lot.
What would we need to do to
Really
get this
not
thing refreshed?
100% sure what all is going on with this machine. I'm going to have to guarantee it's going to need a carb clean. It's going to need a battery. All the fluids are going to need to be changed. We're obviously going to have to get rid of some of these levers that really just don't work as well as a proper lever does. I mean, some people may think they look cool, but they don't work so good. So we're going to probably get rid of some of that stuff. There's a lot of corrosion on this machine that we would have to knock off. So we'd probably have to scrape some corrosion down, maybe paint some parts just to beautify them and stop them from corroding any further. And then once again, we would have to figure out some way. This one's going to be tough to knock the ugly off of this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to need like a big hammer to knock the ugly off of this.
A sledgehammer, as it were.
A couple sledgehammers, I think.
Sledgehammers. All right. So that's option 4.
This is our fourth and final option.
Fourth and final option.
You know, Luke just pulled this out before. I'm sure, I don't know if you actually caught this. This piece of plastic is the original plastic seat wrap from when the bike was brand new.
Good God.
And it's just kind of still stuck in there. Oh, no. The cover's unwrapping.
Man.
Stitches came out of it.
It needs seems like it needs a good refresh, as it were. All right, guys, so here's the cool part. We've got 4 legitimate good bikes that we could do a refresh on and give away. So the fun part of this whole series, or part of Wreck Bike Rebuild, is if you guys go over to Patreon and support us over there, you can choose which of these bikes we're gonna be able to do. So Brian, which one, if you were to choose, which one would you want to do? Which one would you personally want to refresh? What you get your money on?
Would I want to refresh, or what do I think everybody else wants to refresh?
No, which one would you pick if you were going?
Am I like a bike that I would want to keep?
Yeah.
I'd probably do this CBR 500.
All right, Luke, what bike you got?
Yeah, same one.
See, wow, we all agree.
Yeah.
What a rare.
Yeah.
This feels weird. We don't all agree very
Now,
often.
which bike do I think that we can make the coolest cheaply is a different story, though.
Well, you already answered. You don't get to take your answer back. I personally think the CBR 500R is the better option too. Obviously, you guys on Patreon are going to be the ones to choose, but that's your, where are you? That's your options, boys. So, link down below will take you to Patreon. You can support the show, and you get to pick what bike we do a refresh on, and then we get to give it to you. That's it. All right, so on the next episode of this, we will come pick the motorcycle up that the Patreon people decide. You guys let us know down in the comments which one you think they will pick, or you picked if you're part of the Patreon thing. And we will see you guys on that one. For my arm brakes, I'm gonna be done here. Okay. Womp, womp. Oh, full tuck. Wait, you don't gotta tuck that much, dude. You got.
Do this.
Oh, dude, you could ultimate tuck.
Ultimate tuck.
Ulta tuck.
Then you slam on the front. You just go and you find out how the dashboard tastes.
You're not understanding. Your tuck is in the opposite direction.
Oh, it's like this.
There it is.
Outro
Now you're
crew.
totally in the bubble.
Hold on, outro crew. What do you think about the Ulta tuck?
Ultra tuck.
Ulta tuck.
With the size of this windscreen, you are perfectly tucked in the bubble at that point, and you're comfortable in cruising.
I can take a nap while I'm riding.
You may as well just be watching YouTube videos right now going down the highway.